I'm talking with Nathan Bricklin of Wells Fargo, and you just gave a presentation on internal collaboration. And you mentioned on the panel, or your team mentioned on the panel, that the big question is the post-Wachovia Wells Fargo merger. So how are you guys using internal collaboration to make your company seem smaller and to help employees?
Yeah, so when I look at the Wachovia Wells merger, it's just, I see it as just the latest evolution of mergers that have defined the culture and growth of our companies. And so, our cultures were very similar in that they're very collaborative in nature, they're very entrepreneurial in nature, and what we're finding is we've gone from a large regional bank in the Wells Fargo side to really being an international bank. And so now you've got teams that are dispersed over a much wider area, and the question is, how do you keep that connection with those teams? And so what we found is that if we can use social media tools, they are just tools, but they're tools that we can use to make the company feel smaller by having people communicate whenever they want. So you don't have to, not just by the clock, they can communicate, and they can, after hours, after somebody's hours, they can continue the conversation. And as we have so many meetings that are remote on the phone, when you have large meetings and you have so many people on the phone, sometimes it's hard to get your comments in, and sometimes you need to step back and think about it for a while, and you want to contribute later on. So we're setting up those communities to allow people to communicate and contribute when they want, whenever they want.
Now, your role at Wells Fargo is a new one that you created, your team. What was the evolution of that?
Yeah, so this is a new team. The social strategies team in the wholesale group is a new team, and it's something we created because we saw that there are many teams that have social media and collaboration efforts going on, but there are lots of different lines of business that are focusing on these things. And so we saw that there was a gap in terms of having a center of excellence that could provide guidance, expertise, education to teams that are already working on this. One, how to do it best, how do we leverage existing infrastructure, how do we leverage existing licenses, how do we share best practices, but also how do we take, when a team is working very well together, how do we extend that to include other team members that haven't traditionally worked together. But what we're really trying to do is we're trying to go beyond organizational, hierarchical, and geographical boundaries. That's what we're trying to do with this team. And so there was a gap identified that there needed to be some best practice education, and so that's why we created the team.
Excellent. Thank you very much.